What is going on YouTube? I'm back with another YouTube video. Quick little trade recap on how we caught roughly around 200 points today. I think this might have been the biggest. I don't know. I remember earlier this year I caught around 200 points. I think this one might be just a little bit more. Like this is like around that 260 range. We're gonna go ahead and talk about that right now. Uh, Great comeback from yesterday. I actually took a Asia session trade yesterday, kind of made back that loss. I could go ahead and pull that up for you guys right now as well. Give me a sec. Yeah, so here's this Asia session trade. Pretty much a 5 minute continue. So pay attention to this right here. Pay attention to this and like this framework, right? So we have a fair value gap on the higher time frame. Internal manipulation, we have the displacement for value gap here at a premium, and then targeting this hourly for value gap. But pretty much pay attention to this framework. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that. This framework pretty much appeared again today, and I'm gonna just get into it. But kind of made my loss back from yesterday, um, during New York. Yeah. So aside from that, um, yeah, great comeback today. I'm saying this is what I'm saying, and a lot of us really need to start realizing that a single loss does not define you as a trader, right? If you're blowing accounts and stuff, that might that might define you a little bit. But if a single red day, right, is normal, right? Everyone is going to be losing. We all are human. We all make mistakes. We all see something that we could have caught earlier that like could have helped us prevent us from taking a trade or just taking any bad trades in general. Uh, so very important. If your trade goes red, take it. It does not define you, right? Because you live to fight on you live to trade another day, and literally the next day you can literally make it back, right? Or you can have another red day. You get what I'm saying? But it's just like an off and on kind of thing. The most important thing is that you live to trade another day. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about this. Am I happy about this trade? Yes, because it ended up playing out. I also pretty much did commentary trading on the Discord, free Discord, bunch of cool people in there. I tried longs twice. Got break even. I didn't know how like it was pretty volatile. Like 50 points was barely anything. Like 50 points, yeah, 50 points was barely anything, and I went break even. And I'm gonna go ahead why I talked about going break. Why I went break even, but tried long again. Here's the entry, and then pretty much the rest is history. I was taking a poop. Wow, it hit TP. Okay, so coming into New York AM again, did not trade New York AM for the most part. I logged on around 8 o'clock ish, so right before New York AM lunch. And really, what I was seeing is if you check the weekly chart, we just tapped into this weekly Ferrari gap, right? After being at such an all-time highs, state of structure, we tapped into the weekly Ferrari gap. So this is a pretty nice higher time from retrace. As you can see, we caught the wick up. So on the higher time frame, really, what I was looking at is just okay. I think I'm gonna be bullish here. Now, the scary part about this is obviously this is a weekly for Rally Gap, so some people, might want to see CE, so the 50% mark of this weekly for Rally Gap before taking any longs, etc. I kind of just turned off my brain and I'm like, weekly for Valley Gap, I'm gonna be looking for longs, right? I'm just hopefully this is just kind of a tap and go scenario. And it ended up working. It was definitely a little bit scary. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about why. Looking at the hourly time frame, when I entered just around this trade, as you can see, we pretty much swept this sell side at this level. Kind of just marked out this sell side as well. Um, so this is the start of the weekly for Valley Gap right over here. So this is the start of the weekly for Valley Gap. You can see we pretty much tapped into and swept this, and then pretty much swept this other external low here. Um, Now at this point in time, what I was looking at was just a quick tap and go on the weekly. Obviously, higher time frame wise, if you look in the hour, we are currently in a bearish state. But I think, really what popped into my head was, okay, we tapped into a weekly for Valley Gap. I'm expecting to see a move up. I'm expecting to see a move up. Now, am I expecting to see a crazy move up all the way back to all-time highs? No, but I'm expecting that weekly for Valley Gap to at least sponsor some sort of upside, right? At least to this high. As you can see, I was targeting -2 to -2.5. I wasn't expecting us to, just take all of these highs on the higher time frame, right? Obviously, we are still pretty much in a bearish trend, as you can see. No real break of structure to the upside on the higher time frame. So that weekly for value gap tap, I was just expecting it to sponsor a move to the upside. Not all the way up here, but just some move to the upside. So that's kind of what I was playing on. Now, the scary part about this, as you can see, is that when I took this trade, there is a 15-minute for value gap here. There's also a 30-minute for value gap. And then if you go back to the 5-minute, there's also a 5-minute for value gap. So I took two stabs, break even the first one, and I tried again. Now, what I was scared of is, remember that screenshot I told you? This is really identical to what that was. Um, from the Asia session trade that I showed you guys, right? So 5-minute for Valley up here. Here we have that manipulation. So I was thinking, right, this could have easily just, that weekly for Valley gap. This is the sponsor, and then we continue to go back lower. So this is what could have also played out. Now, I would say I got saved in a way. Who knows? So today was really just a mixed emotions kind of thing. Like, usually when I take a trade, I'm kind of like nonchalant. I'm just like put in my this, oh, TP here, TP here, and I kind of just like scroll on TikTok or whatever. Like I barely manage it. But today I was constantly looking at each candle go up and down just to see how we would react off of this 5-minute, because this could have easily been 5-minute manipulation, and then we continue potentially to dig it deeper into that weekly for Valley Gap, maybe that CE of the gap, right? So really scary stuff. I'm happy at the fact that I was able to hold, um, and set my stop loss, don't touch it, and let it go. Like I already accepted the fact that I'm in a trade. I like the idea. I like the idea, but there's other things here to have considered as well, right? One of the things that I kind of picked up on is a bunch of if this and that when it comes to the trading, right? It's because for Valley Gap weekly tap, but this again, this could have easily been the exact same framework that I took a trade during Asia session yesterday, uh, and this easily could have just gone lower and targeted 50% of that weekly for Valley Gap. So in terms of probability, I would say this is definitely a riskier take. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm happy I did some things correctly by not playing on my stop loss, kind of just accepting it. Um, but yeah, I definitely think I could have played it a little bit more safe. I did see some people take this 15-minute inversion trade right over here. So maybe let me go ahead and delete this. I did see some people take a 15-minute inversion trade, or maybe it was a 5-minute. Yeah, I did see some people take this 5-minute inversion. So as soon as this candle closed, so kind of looks something like this. I definitely do think this could have been a better option. Maybe I was a little bit early. Again, it's just like a bunch of mixed emotions, really, to be honest. Like, there's just so many things. Today was kind of weird. Again, I'm happy it played out. I'm happy I caught a good amount of points. Usually I wouldn't be holding too, because a lot of the prop firms that I trade have a consistency rule, but I have some alpha feature premium accounts, so there's no consistency on that. So I was pretty much able to hold just a little bit. And yeah, so I mean, solid day, I guess. Again, we live to trade another day. Um, Happy that the trade played out. Definitely could have played it a little bit more safer. Um, Definitely some chop. I'm happy that I wasn't, you know, if it hits my stop loss, this is my stop loss, right? It's whatever. And yeah, so I mean, it was definitely a all right trade, to begin with. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for this trade recap. Thank you guys so much. Oh wait, did I talk about? Yeah. So I mostly trade, inverse rally gap, change of the states, like a buy model, sell model. I did see this pretty much when I came into the charts, this 5 minute change in the state here. Using standard deviation, looks like it was -2 to -2.5. Looks like price literally came up to the standard deviation of that. So this is a good part. You get what I'm saying? Like getting this right here, the standard deviation, -2, -2. That's my target. As soon as we trade into this area, you know, we start to flush back down, right? So that kind of stuff makes me feel good as well. Um, but for the most part, looking at this. I wasn't really looking at this on the 1 minute. I kind of was looking at this on the 5 minute, just because I wanted at least somewhat of a higher time frame change of structure. So I saw this change in the state here and this for value gap. So I initially had entered around this area for longs, and I realized this 5 minute here might be a problem. Pretty much went break even as soon as possible. Um, then I saw that this 5 minute here. Now, this 5 minute for shorts was definitely a fake. I wasn't opposed to this actually. That's what I'm saying. Like today was definitely a hard trading day because as soon as you see this, inverse for value gap traders see this and they're like 5 minute for value gap tap. This goes inverse, was good, some pretty good momentum. Let's enter here, probably target these lows down over here, and then continue to go higher. I mean, continue to go lower, maybe to that CE of the weekly gap or something. I mean, we also do have some draws to the left as well. So I wasn't opposed to this, but I mean, I was happy that I, kind of just stuck to what I was like, I'm still looking for longs. This, although we didn't respect the change in the state, all nice and wiki, like all pretty. For the most part, kind of just a fake out here, and then as well down at this low, we also did have an SMT with ES, so that's kind of also what helped me um, kind of formulate this long bias. And yeah, so again, changes the state here. Took this first trade, went break even. Tried it again after we had. I think there was an internal SMT here as well. Um, yeah, so this right here. So this SMT, as soon as this SMT came into play, that's when we actually started to see the move up. So again, happy that I wasn't moving my stop loss around or just being worried that I'm gonna get chalked up and spat out kind of like yesterday. And yeah, so solid stuff. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'll catch y'all the next one. Peace, peace.